Welcome to Marriage in Real Life with your host, Eric and Patsy Richards, a podcast about two imperfect people with an imperfect marriage. This podcast aims to help listeners know that God, who is perfect, can use your imperfections and your imperfect marriage to help others. So let's laugh and learn. I hope you enjoy the episode, and let's get straight into it.
Welcome to Marriage in Real Life.
Welcome.
Oh, wow.
I didn't turn my mic on.
Yeah, we know. We know. I already know that you don't be turning your mic on like you're supposed to. I already know that.
Okay.
Just messing with you, baby. Just messing with you. So, how are you doing today, babe? How you hanging?
I'm hanging. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a great day at work today.
You had a great day?
I was asleep at my desk.
Oh, boy.
I can't believe it, did. I jumped like, oh, my goodness. I got places to be and things to do.
Oh, boy. You fell asleep.
I fell asleep, and it wasn't even my intention. So I think sometimes the body just be like, you know what, you need to crash a bit, you know?
You think so?
I think so, because I slept well over the weekend. So I wasn't tired. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's that food I ate from the cafeteria. It probably put me down.
Oh yeah, that food will get you now. That cafeteria food, it will get you. So yeah, we want to thank each and everybody. Hey, we see Rob is on. Hey, give a shout out to Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Rob say, oh, I'm glad he corrected himself. He talking about good morning.
That's all right.
Peaches is on. Hey, Peach. Yeah. Hey, so we're so glad. Hey, when you are logging on, please tell us where you are watching from. We would love to know where you're watching from. Putting your name and everything, so we could give you a shout out throughout the night. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, we want to give people a shout out. That's what we want to do. All right. And I just want to let you know, if you want to donate, to us, we want to be able to just do more programming. So right there, you can donate to us on Marriage in Real Life at Real Life SFL. .church for Zelle, and for Cash App, Marriage in Real Life. You can also donate here while you're watching. You just hit that little money bar that's on their side, and you can donate as well. You get a super chat. Now, super chats, we got to read super chats. Mm-hmm. They pay money to read.
Okay.
All right, so we got to read the super chats.
But we read them all, as many as we can, because sometimes they're coming in so fast, it's kind of hard to catch up with them.
Yeah, but if it's a super chat, we got to read it.
Okay.
Because they gave money. So
will they have like a sign to let me know that it's a super chat?
Oh, yeah. It lets you know, because you will see that you'll see the dollar amount, what they gave, and it's highlighted.
Okay.
All right. I might do it. I might do it throughout the night. I mean, for one. And see how it goes. Show you how it goes.
Okay.
All right. Give a shout out to all the super chats out there.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So before we get into the topic, what's been happening? What's been going on? What's the deal?
Wow. We've been doing a lot of stuff. Did we do a lot, or did we just chillax?
I think we just chillax. Mm-hmm. I know yesterday, we went to a jazz place yesterday around 5 o'clock. The food wasn't,
but the ambiance was
was good. Yeah.
Right there in the city of Lauderhill. Yeah. It was nice.
It was nice, yeah. Remember, it's grand opening, so yeah. My friend Keenan was there last night. That Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
And he plays what?
Saxophone.
Saxophone.
Yeah, he plays saxophone. So yeah, he was there. We did that, we went to another restaurant, but we could just be some eating out people. We got to start, cooking inside. I guess I got to start cooking inside.
Absolutely.
Boy, I tell you.
Absolutely. Right now, I can take a home cooked meal.
So, hey, anybody who watching, want to invite us over for dinner, we would love to come,
We would love to.
Yeah, we, get some home cooked meals, because, my wife.
Your wife.
My wife, she don't cook no more. No.
You know what? I cook if you ask me. If you tell me you want something in particular, I cook.
Okay.
And you know I do.
All right. So from now on, I'm gonna do that.
Don't do that. I'll cook Sunday dinner for you.
All right. Good.
Once
Hey,
a
we
week.
got Warren and Paige watching from Port St. Lucie.
Hi, Juan. Hi,
Hey,
Paige.
how y'all doing? Hey. All right. All the way from Port St. Lucie. You know, that's where our bishop lives at.
Yeah.
Right up there. All right. So, you know, I'm ready to get into the topic. I know it's, I know probably the people tune in or, they, you know, secrets, you know, you're telling nobody no secrets, you know, you should be always telling the secrets. So, but before we go into that, I want to, look at this video that is real that we had. I think it was real good from this pastor. I think I think it's real good for what we talk about and what, you know, even with our daughters and people in the church and, you know, just for them to know. All right. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right. Let's go. Let's go.
There's a couple in our church in New Orleans that most people would consider the odd couple. This is why. She is a medical doctor. He is a construction worker. She works in the hospital with patients all day. He works in building houses and buildings. And someone asked her, how could she submit to a man who made substantially less money than she did? And like a grown woman, get what she said. She said, I have never judged my husband by the size of his purse or his pocket, but rather by the size of his purpose in my life, by the size of his passion for me. She says, I've never judged him by what he had in his pocket, but rather what he had in his heart. She said, yeah, that's true. I make probably 6 times the money my husband makes. My husband has never been able to match my money, but guess what? He has always been able to match my grind. She says, I have never found myself trying harder than him. I have never found myself working harder than him. I have never found myself loving harder than him. And that's why I'm able to submit and call this man who works in construction my husband. She said to me, she said, Pastor, my husband is not a man in my house. He is the man of my house because he's earned that position. I want to tell you, a lot of folk are missing great people because you're so busy looking at money, you forget about meaning. You're so busy looking at pocket and purse that you forget about purpose. Listen, you will always be able to find somebody that can afford you. But you know what the hard thing is? Finding somebody that has the capacity to value you. Because a person can afford you and still be disrespectful. A person can afford you and still talk down to you. A person can afford you and still misuse you. But when they value you, you have found a gem. Listen, don't you miss a dollar because you're chasing dimes. Dimes are always shiny, and we love to shine. Well, he has this or she has that. Dollars are not as pretty, but guess what? They hold more value. Choose folk that have value, not just folk who have shine.
All right, now. I like that.
I got to pass a shout out on that. That was real good. I got to give him another one. You know, what you take from that? What you take from that?
It kind of brings me to a lot of the reality TV shows that's going on now. And a lot of times you sit, you know, not me, but some people sit in their house and they go like, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I need. I want this. I want that. And I want him to have this. And I want her to have that. And at the end of the day, where's the value in that? Because they doing this right now. You don't know what's going on when the cameras aren't rolling. Do he value her? Do she really value him? Or is it just a setup? So I think a lot of young adults try to base their lives placed on what they see in reality TV. And I think he kind of made a point. He can give you the world if that's what you want, but do he value you?
Yeah, it's value.
And that's so important. I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah. You need a person that is going to help you get on purpose,
absolutely.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know it goes vice versa, but he was just talking about and sometimes, I mean, a lot of times, women look for that. They would rather say, I need a lawyer versus I need a garbage man.
Mm-hmm.
But that man is working.
Yeah.
He may not be wearing a suit all the time, but he's bringing home. I mean, he's hard worker, and you want a hard working man. You want a man that when times get crazy, they still can do what they need to do.
Right.
Go out there and hustle. Again, somebody's going to help you on purpose. Somebody that will love you as Christ loved the church. That's what you need. Because you don't want nobody that's going to beat on you. You don't want nobody that's going to talk down to you. You don't want nobody that's going to do all those things. You do not want that, because that's what he said. He said you want somebody with purpose, the capacity and the value. Because, again, if they can afford you sometimes, and I'm saying not all the times now, we're just talking about in this particular clip. If they can, sometimes they can afford you, but they will embarrass you. They will afford you, but they will dishonor you. And I love when he talked about the dollar and the coin, and
dollar
and the dime.
and dime.
Yeah. Because, when you think about it, think about how dollars are usually crumbled up.
Mm.
You know what I mean? They crumbled up. They, sometimes we step on them. We do all that kind of stuff. And sometimes we don't even see the dollar. If it's in the dirt or whatever, we have to look hard for it. But we can see the dime. Right. Yeah. But again, the dollar is worth more. You bought us something to drink. You weren't going to buy nothing for a dime. Oh, man, you can't buy it. It's not like how we grew up.
That's so true.
When we used to get cookies, for a dime and stuff like that. We didn't have to worry about dollars, man. We just had some quarters and some pennies.
We were
good to go.
Right. The value part is kind of what stood out to me. And I remember a while back, I was talking about the value of a diamond, and
right.
and how the diamond, it shines and it's so beautiful. And they say diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Right.
But if that diamond chip get bruised, the value of it go down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're giving me the beautiful house and you're giving me the credit cards and you're giving me all that, but yet you're still chipping away at me, you're still bruising me, my value is going down.
Right.
And then I got to go somewhere and pick myself up, get my self-esteem, and get me back in check with life as to how I want to, after I have stood back, because I wanted all of these material things, but mostly what I want is your heart. And if your heart is following the heart of God, those things become secondary.
Oh, I got to give you. Well, you preached yesterday. We forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
You preached yesterday. You did your thing yesterday.
To God be the glory.
You did your thing yesterday, and you just gave it. You just preached again. All right.
I wasn't trying to do that.
But you're so right. And I think oftentimes sometimes we need to make sure that we value our spouse. We need to make sure we value them. And don't say things, don't fuss at things, don't do things that we would not do to take the value of our spouse down. We don't want to do that.
I agree.
We don't want to do that. All right? All right.
Well, let's get into this because our time is running short.
Yeah, let's get into this topic tonight. So tonight's episode might surprise some folks because we're talking about secrets. Secrets. At least we ain't talking about rumors. You remember that song? Look at all these rumors.
We ain't talking about secret lovers. We ain't talking about
No,
that.
we ain't talking about no secret lovers. No, we ain't talking about that. But not those kind of secrets, are we? So we're not talking about, those secrets. We're talking about the right kind of secrets, the ones that protect your marriage and not poison it.
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking about those secrets, those secrets that you and your wife's supposed to have. And I think we did a podcast. You got to make sure you watch who you talk to, who you go to, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Remember that? And so those type of things, those are secrets that you need to keep.
Keep to yourself.
Now, I want to say this. I want to say that sometimes keeping secrets, especially when it comes down to prayer, and especially when it comes down to prayer, I think some secrets that we try to uphold, that we try to keep, we should be letting those who we trust. Again, that's the preface of it. Whom we trust, we should be letting them know what to pray for, right? Because sometimes we try to keep secrets, and because people will say, "Oh, if I tell it, it's out there in the atmosphere, and this is going to happen and that is going to happen." When look, if you got people that you trust, that that hey, they can get an answer to God, they can talk to God, and for a fact that they will keep your secret. They're not going to go and blabber it all over the place. Those are the people that you say, hey, I need you to pray for me because such and such, such and such, such and such. Okay, cool. We got you. All right, cool. And you got somebody to hold you accountable and do this, And so I think sometimes with secrets in a marriage, when it comes down to your husband and wife, sometimes you need to let people know and not keep it such a secret. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I'm a real private person when it comes down to my personal business.
Right.
I'm constantly, I would just make sure you pray and you ask the Lord to lead you to someone that you can confide in. Don't go with someone because y'all go to brunch together and whatever. Make sure the Lord is directing you, who to speak to on the behalf of whatever may be concerning with your marriage or, whatever it may be. Make sure you seek God first. I mean, and even, the pastor might be okay, but he may go to his wife, say, hey, we need to pray for this couple. And then the wife might tell her women's department president. And before you know it.
Well, I'll tell you that. If that happens, you got a right to, first of all, you got a right to sue.
Well, yeah, you do, but I'm just saying because you want to be careful in that aspect.
Yeah, but
in the past, but I've experienced that happen with someone else. It wasn't with me, but it was with someone else, and I was like, no, she didn't.
Then you got a right to confront the pastor. Because if you're telling your pastor and you're telling him in secret, and usually a pastor would say, "Hey, can I tell my wife?" And if you say no, don't tell her, and you tell her, then that's wrong. But if you say yeah, go ahead and tell her, and he tells, and you say, hey, look, I only told you, and now this person knows, and I only told you, like you said it yesterday.
I did.
You said it yesterday. I only told you, and now the whole church knows. So either you're blabbering or you told somebody and they blabbering.
Absolutely.
So I don't know who you told, but this can't happen, and I don't trust you.
No.
And how can you trust a shepherd voice, if they're going around blabbering your stuff? You just can't do it. You just can't do it.
All right.
All right. So this is what God calls us to guard what's sacred. Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard your heart, where everything you do flows from it. That applies to our marriage too. Everything. That's it. Guard our heart. So that means, and I know, especially with women, y'all love to guard your heart. Boy, y'all guard that heart forever and ever. Right?
Well, I have to be honest. As you go through life and you're in and out of relationships, you build up a wall. Because now you ain't trying to be broken. You're trying to keep your head on right.
Okay.
You're trying to stay focused.
Okay. All right. So you ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
So let's dig into these 7 secrets every spouse should keep. And we're going to be using some of the word of God to guide us in every step. You ready?
I'm ready. Uh-oh. You have nothing better to do with your time, do you? I promise you. Okay, so our first secret is intimate details.
Intimate
God
details.
created intimacy for marriage. It's holy. Hebrews 13:4 tells us marriage should be honored by all, and marriage and the marriage bed kept pure.
Uh-oh, that done struck something now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right, all right. So that means that what happens between a husband and wife emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
physically,
Mm-hmm.
spiritually, isn't meant for public consumption. It's a gift from God, not a group chat topic.
Absolutely, I agree with that. But let's go back to that part where it says
Oh boy.
the marriage bed should be kept pure.
Okay.
You break that up. Break that down for me, right quick.
I would say this. What you and your husband do in your bed is between you and your husband,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
That's what it is. If one of you do not agree about what to do in the bed, then you can't do it. And you can't get mad about it. If you can't get mad about it. If you want to change it, you better go to God.
So, so you can pray first.
Huh? No, if you go and ask your spouse, say, hey, we, I want to do this. I want to have some chains and some whips. And your spouse say, oh, you ain't finna hit me with no chain. And
We should go into prayer.
No whip. You need to do what y'all agree upon, and then you start praying and fasting. You tell your spouse, well, I'm going on a 3-day fast. Where you going on a 3-day fast? Because I want chains and whips. All right.
Okay, all right. So long as the two of us agree, we're good.
As long as it's two, yeah. As long as it's two. And so what I say in that thing when it says pure, people have a tendency of definition what is pure, because what is pure to some person is not pure to another person, right? And it's only pure to God. So that's why you have to go to God and say, okay, this is what we agree upon in our bed. Because again, what is pure to one person may not be pure to another person. What considered holy to another person, it may not be considered holy to another person. Because again, we grew up, holiness was what? The long dresses, the stockings, no makeup, all this. And that's what, and some people still consider that holy, right? If you ain't doing that, you're not holy. We look at that and say, what? Yeah. So you can't say it. So you must go to God. All right. Mm-hmm. You got me scratching my head, girl.
I just think when you protect the intimacy, it honors your spouse, and more importantly, it honors God.
Yeah.
God created it for the married couple, so you want to, be focused on God, not at the moment. Though,
not while you be intimate. You don't be focusing on God. Huh? You don't be saying hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Stop it.
You might say thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, whatever. So you want you. How are we gonna get through this? Because
I don't know.
You know what? It honors God when you are enjoying one another, and he see that his creation and what he has joined together is good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. Because God made for man and woman to enjoy intimacy.
Yes,
He made that. So,
amen.
So it's not about being secretive. It's all about being sacred.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We gotta be sacred, baby.
Okay.
All right. So let's be real. We're gonna talk about disagreements. Number 2 is disagreements. All right. So because if we be real, we've all had disagreements. Right?
Yes.
We've all had disagreements. And so, when the last time we had a big disagreement?
Yesterday?
Yes. Oh, God. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But our disagreements are not big no more. I
think because over the times, and 30 years, it's really gotten to the point where you just really choose the battle.
You got to know how to choose your battles.
You just, I don't have time for the pettiness. It is, if I say that that's what I'm going to do, that's what I'm going to do. I'm moving on. I'm not going to linger there.
Yeah,
you know
right.
Because we got much bigger things that we got on our plate to do. And arguing over something petty is not It's not it. That's not where
it's not it. Because, exactly. So Ephesians 4:26 reminds us, in your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun goes down while you are still angry. So in your anger, do not sin. So, I guess, because again, we talk about it all the time, and we've said it here, especially when it comes down to communication. Communication is the key to your marriage. Communication is the key to your marriage. Communication is the key to your marriage. You must communicate. So you got to communicate, between about intimate details. You got to, even in your disagreements, you got to communicate. So you got to make sure that when it says in your anger, do not sin, that you do not say things that you cannot take back. You got to make sure. So that's why we tell people, hey, slow down. Hey, before you say something, I know you're mad, I know you're angry, but don't say nothing that you will regret, because you can say you're sorry from now to Timbuktu or now to eternity, but that person will still remember what you said.
And that's part of chipping away.
Ooh, wow.
That's part of, because if you say something and you be like, oh, especially if I confided in you in something that was sensitive to me, and then you throw it back at me, now I don't trust you. I'm not telling you nothing else. Now you put me in a position where I have to go tell my girlfriend, because now I'm hurt and I don't know how to react to it. So now I got to call up Sheila and say,
oh,
girl.
Geez. Don't call up Sheila.
And be like, girl, can you believe he said this? And now Sheila is seeing you in a different light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to be mindful of what you say and how you say it. And, the scripture doesn't say you can't get angry.
Right.
You can get upset. Jesus got upset when he was in the temple and said,
Yes,
look
sir.
at what y'all doing.
As a matter of fact,
This is not what I created this to
he did that
be.
today. We're talking about Holy Week. This is what he did. This is Monday. That's what he did. Yeah, he did that today.
And he was like, you've made this out of a den of thieves. So Jesus, he did get angry. So we're not saying that you can't get angry, but don't let it linger, and just kind of keep your disagreements within your marriage. Don't say things to each other where that partner has got to go and vent to someone else.
Right.
Because once it's broadcast, and sometimes when we're in the heat of anger and we say what we're gonna say, it gets out there. Somebody over here, and it get twisted around. I remember my grandmother used to play this game with us, and she would tell one person, and I think I said this a million times, she would tell one person in their ear, and we had to go around the room with the same secret that she started with. And by the time it was a lot of us, maybe 15 of us. But by the time it got to the last person, it was completely different to what she had told the first. But she said, that is not what I said. So that's how things get added. People add their own thing in it. They take stuff away. And then they start seeing your partner in a different perspective, which is not cool at all.
We got Izzy. Hey, Izzy.
Hey, girl.
Izzy says, I think it's good to keep disagreements private until it becomes threatening to the marriage. Oh, yes. There should be at least one experienced married couple that is spiritually mature to counsel you.
I agree. And that goes back to what we said at the beginning about pray about that person. Ask God to direct you to that person, because you don't want to go to someone that maybe relationship hurt, male hurt, because they're going to give you from their perspective. And that's not what God needs. That's not where God needs you to be at that particular point. So I totally agree with that. Someone that's spiritually mature to counsel you.
All right. She goes on to say, but it must be someone that both spouses agree with and feel comfortable with, that is unbiased.
Absolutely.
You got, I believe, and I just want to reiterate what she just said, and I just want to put an explanation point to it. I believe every couple should have that one couple that you can go to, that both, like she said, that both of you all agree to. Both of you know that they will hold you accountable. Both of you know that that couple will say to you, you're wrong and you're wrong, whatever. And you can be And you could be vulnerable to that couple. And you know for a fact that that couple will not go around and share your business. You know what I mean? That couple is your couple. You can call them, you can visit them, you can stay with them, you can do, if you want to do a vacation with them, you can do all those things with that one couple because you know that you trust that couple. So every couple needs a couple. You know, we always say every pastor needs a pastor. Every marriage needs a good marriage couple in their lives. Got to have one that you can call at any time. All right. Izzy is on here. I know many people keep quiet and suffer in silence, and it makes the marriage bad. Yeah, I mean, when they suffer in silence, in anything with the marriage things, that's why you got to have that one person that that one couple that you can talk to. That they'll tell you in therapy you cannot suffer in silence. Suffering in silence is bad, right? And when you suffer in silence, what does that do? It tears you down, right? Just talking about your individual, it tears you down. You get depressed. You say, I don't want to do anything. You don't function well at your job. You don't function well at your church. You just don't function well because you're torn down. And so can you imagine in a marriage what happens, when both of you all are suffering in silence, and man, the enemy is having his field day.
Yes, he is.
He's having his field day. He's having his field day,
And also in the process of that suffering, your heart starts to harden towards that person.
Oh man!
And when when the light bulb come on, and it's like, oh no, I'm about to lose my wife. Or, oh no, I'm about to lose my husband. Now you got to take an axe to try and break through that brick that you done created because they done built it up so hard. And now you struggling trying to break them down, but at this point, they've disconnected.
Yeah.
So now you got to get the reconnection so you can move forward.
Boy, ain't nothing like a disconnected spouse. Nothing like that. It's no power in the disconnect. It's no power in a marriage. You think when you take something, if I were to disconnect the audio, the people wouldn't be hearing, right?
Right.
And so when a spouse is disconnected from the marriage, that marriage is not going nowhere. Wow.
It's stagnated. Now, can it be revived and refreshed? Absolutely, it can. But both have to be willing to put in the work for it to be renewed.
Yeah.
You can't do it by yourself. I constantly say you can't get in the ring and tag team yourself. You got to have somebody to tag with.
Yeah.
And if we can't do it together, then it can't be done.
Yeah.
It's just more suffering, and no one deserves to be in a marriage where they're suffering. And no matter what, and no matter how hard they try, it's good for the moment, and then it's back down. You up 1 month and you're down 3 months. That's no way to live.
That's no way to live. And God does not want that.
God is not pleased with that.
God is not pleased with that. Not pleased with that up and down because somebody is causing that. God is not pleased with that at all. I want to go just hit back at the intimate thing, right? When it talks about secrets. And you said it before, don't you go out and tell nobody out there, talking to your girlfriend how good your husband is. And husbands, don't go around and talking about what your wife do and all this kind of stuff. No, because your friend will be sitting there waiting for your demise, right?
So they can pick up the pieces.
So they can say, okay, yeah.
He was right.
Yeah. Right. That's why you got to have that spiritually minded couple. It comes back to Izzy, that spiritually minded. But you don't, intimate stuff, you don't even tell your spiritually minded person, unless it's, it's not where it's supposed to be, right? All right, so that's number 2. Number 2 was disagreement. Yes, but this is good. This is good.
Well, number 3.
Number 3
is family issues. This
issues.
is a big one because some family has lots of drama. But God called us to be peacemakers. So in our relationships, we have to be focused on, staying calm and staying in character. Right?
Yeah, what the scripture says. Blessed are the peacemakers, right? Well, they shall be called the children of God. Whew. But it's hard to be peacemakers, though.
It is.
It comes down to family.
It is. It is because sometimes family think they know what's best for your marriage when ain't no when it's only two people in the whole family that's ever been married. And the rest of the others that have been married is divorced.
Yeah.
But now they telling you how to do this thing. Oh, you know, so you can hold on to yours, but now you're giving me advice on mine. You know, so you got to be careful with that too. You can't go tell Aunt Millie everything because Aunt Millie gonna tell Aunt Sophia. When all the aunties get together, they're gonna be talking about you. I think is that just what families do?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Because that is so rude.
Yeah, it is rude. So whatever. I mean, and I know people say, especially in the African American marriage, African American family, what goes on in the house stays in the house, right? And I know. For a lot of people, meaning a lot of things that happen in the house was not told to somebody else, right? And that's not a good thing. But we're not talking about abuse, right? We're not talking about physical abuse. We're not talking about it. We're just talking about arguments, disagreements, or stuff, things like that. Family secrets. Maybe it's something that is that's not detrimental to nobody, that's going to mess with their minds, but it is a secret that that we're going to keep, right? So for instance, and I would tell this as long as I live, and so I didn't find out that my dad was my dad until he died. My mom kept the secret, my dad kept the secret. That was a family secret that they kept. It was, now to some people it may say it harmed me. It harmed me. But really, I would have wanted him to know, I wanted to know that, but he treated me like a son anyway. Because I was adopted, and I was adopted at 6 months, whatever. So it wasn't that bad, I would say, to me, right? And so when it came out, it wasn't that I was so mad at him that I wanted to go to his grave and dig him up. You know what I mean?
And slap him around.
And slap him right in. Pa, why you ain't tell me, So, but it was a family secret, family issue. So sometimes we gotta do that,
Yeah, I think it's just again, when God is in the center of it, God will direct you to the right person within your family that you could talk to. And that person will take whatever you told them to their grave, or into your grave. However, they'll keep it. God will guide you. I fell into the trap of sharing something with a family member, and it came back and bit me totally. But one thing I do know is I know that I only told that person, so now I don't go to that person anymore to share anything. I don't care if I got a break my fingernail. I don't care what it is. I will take it to my grave. The only person that I will confide in anything now is my mom. So you just have to be careful who you choose with, and then not only you should never be in that power struggle where I'm choosing my brother over what my husband is saying.
Nah, you shouldn't. No.
That ain't happening.
No.
You can't do that either, because family will get you in that situation where they'll have you like, am I the crazy one? Or what's going on here?
I like what Jordan told you. Tell that again, what Jordan told you. With Jordan, we were talking about you and Malika and things like that. Tell that again. That's very important, because it should not be a tug of war between
she is my
family,
wife,
right? Between family and your spouse. It should not be a tug of war, because again, a man and a woman, they're gonna leave and they're gonna cleave together. They are families now. So what was that?
He said, Mom, you'll always be my first love, but Malika is my wife, and I don't want no issues between y'all two. And I was like, oh. Like, Eric, who he think he talking to? But I respect him for that. He probably remember saying it. And I respect him for that, because he let me know that, Mom, you're going to be my girl. You're going to always be my girl. But this one right here, she's my wife, and I love her. And I don't want no power struggle between the two of y'all. I'm just not going to. I won't decide. It will never come to me having to decide. y'all gonna get along.
All right.
I said, okay, Jordan.
All right. Hey, look. Little Jay.
Oh, yeah, he took me on a date Saturday.
That's right. Y'all went on a date Saturday.
He took me on a date Saturday. He was such a gentleman. I truly enjoy his company. So now we're going to go out maybe once a month. Or once every other month.
All right. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. All right. That was number 3. Number 4. Number 4. Health problems. Health problems. It's loving to want prayer and support, but we have to balance that with privacy. We said that. I said it earlier.
Yeah, you did. You did.
You want love, but you have to value certain health. I would say like this: if it's health issues that's in between the spouse, if you have that one couple and you don't even feel comfortable sharing with that one couple, you could just call and say, "Hey, you don't have to be particular about it. You can just say, "Hey, I got this health issue. I need prayer." Or if you don't want to share and you and your husband are praying, then that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But one, you should not keep it to yourself. If you're married, you better not keep that health issue to yourself. You got to tell your spouse.
Yeah, you got to. All right, so let me pull the scripture on this. James 5:16 says, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed.
Okay.
I like that.
You like that?
I like that. But also over here in Proverbs 11:13, it says, a gossip betrays a confidence, but a trustworthy person keeps a secret.
Oh, God.
And that is good. And let's go back to when you got something dealing with your health, when something is going on. Since we all adults here, if you having any type of intimate problems, don't keep that to yourself. Let your spouse know. Be like, listen, babe, have an issue, because if not, that either way will feel rejected, as if, well, maybe I'm not attractive, or maybe I gained too much weight. Maybe I'm fat and he don't like it, or maybe I'm bald and she don't like it.
Right.
Because you know what I'm saying? So you definitely don't keep that part out, because that's very important. Anything that's gonna put your spouse into a place where they may have to physically take care of you, bathe you, clean you, anything. Don't keep that secret, because it's going to hit them like a ton of bricks. And now here they are, they got to get a wheelchair ramp for the house, and they got to do this. And then all this time, as you've known it all this time, and you didn't say nothing. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
So when it comes down to your health, don't keep that a secret from your spouse. As far as the females, we need to know. We need to know, because we are nurturers.
Okay.
We take care of the children. We take care of the husband. We take care of I love you too, baby. We take care of the house. We need to make sure that, we have the strength, the emotional strength to deal with it. It's a lot. So please, please, please. And guys, go to the doctor. Now, I hate going to the dentist. It's nothing about the dentist that's appealing to me. I hate the dentist. And because I hate the dentist, I have spent almost $10,000 in my mouth, because I wait to the last minute to go up in there. So I spend a lot of money in that because I hate doing it. But don't prolong your health, because at the end of the day, we never know where the enemy is going to set a trap. We never know if we're going to get in an accident. My son and his family was in an accident this morning. Thank you, Jesus, that they survived it. But what if something happened where one of them had to take care of the other? You never know when you're going to get in a situation, and when you're going to have to step up, and then you're going to have to step up and do what you got to do. So health is important. So definitely don't leave that out.
Okay, good. And like you said, when you have the couple we mentioned before, If your spouse have not given you the green light to share it, you better not share it.
Oh no.
Nobody.
Yeah, no, it's personal.
It's personal.
It's
Don't
personal.
share it with nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that love covers all things,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't expose.
It doesn't expose. True love.
True love don't.
True love.
Yeah. So that's I would say in all of these secrets that love covers these things, and you don't have to expose your spouse. See, this is one thing people don't understand. When you get married, and you starting to trust that person. You starting to tell them intimate details about things that happen, and you don't expect to get divorced.
Mm-mm.
You don't.
You're vulnerable. You're learning together. You're
supposed
growing
to be
together.
vulnerable. You're supposed to be telling. This is. So that's why communication is very important. When you're saying this is how I feel. This is what's going on, and that's why I say you got to fight. When disagreements happen, you feel like, oh, I'm going divorce, and this is no. I'm fighting for this. Because you probably done told your spouse some things that you don't even want nobody to know, right?
I ain't told you nothing. I'm a good girl.
You're a good girl.
Yeah, I totally understand that because you want, when you first get married, you're learning each other. You're still growing up. My grandmother said you grow up until you die.
Until you die.
You grow up until you die. So you're constantly learning each other.
Mm-hmm.
Things are changing. Like I was telling someone, I said, Eric is not the guy that I married. He is not the guy that I married. The guy that I married was 115 pounds soaking wet. Off the rip, He's not the guy that I married. I'm loving the guy that I'm married to, because he's changed along the way. I'm not the woman that he married.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a different person because I've grown up. Things have changed. I've thought about different things. And in every marriage, I'm definitely sure every marriage is a work in progress.
Yes.
It's a work in progress.
Yes.
You know?
Okay. All right. We're ready to go to the next one.
Let's go.
Let's go to the next one. So number 5.
Ooh.
Number 5. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Past regrets.
Mm-hmm. And we all have a past. We've all done some things we ain't proud of. We all did some things that we don't want nobody to know about. But in Christ,
Ooh,
we are a new creation.
you preaching, girl.
He said that old things are passed away. Now, don't go back there and pick those things up. I joke around a lot and say, y'all getting Patsy. But Pat, that girl from the hood.
Oh, Lord. Y'all don't, yeah.
She, you know what? She needs to be buried because I'm never going back there,
Thank you,
Because
Jesus.
I'm a new, you know what? I'm over you. I'm a new creation, and I'm excited about what God is creating in me.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't go back and, bring up old things and try to say you say. You know what? I can't. I'm done.
So what does that mean? That means old mistakes don't define us, and they don't need to be dragged around either.
Mm.
The things that we've done in the
Gotta let
past,
it
it don't
go.
define us.
You gotta let it go because guess what? If you keep bringing it up, it's gonna be hard. You can't determine your future by looking at your past.
You can't. And the old things that you used to do, it don't define us. And so people would try to define us by our old mistakes because they are quick to bring up what we used to do and how we did it and where we did it and who we did it with. They love to do that. You get to the class reunion and everybody want to talk about, man, you remember this, you remember that, you remember this, you remember that. Oh, man, I ain't got time for that. Yeah, I can laugh at if you're talking about something negative, I ain't got time for it. Now, if you're talking about, hey, you remember you in the band and you hit the legs 90 degrees, you were jamming out there. Oh, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But all that other stuff, I ain't got time for that.
Like the womanizing.
The womanizer.
The womanizer got a girlfriend in the 9th grade, one in the 10th grade, one in the 11th.
Who was
Two
that?
you went to prom with, you know. But you don't want to hear about that stuff, 'cause that stuff is in the past. See, you a new creature.
I'm a new creation, baby. I don't worry about the two dates at a prom, 2 different high schools. I don't worry, hey, I don't
That
worry
stuff
about
is
it.
old. You don't need them bringing that up.
No, I don't need that. I don't need that. That's why I keep telling you, stop bringing up how much I owe you for my car insurance. You
owe me $98.90.
It keep going up, man.
Hey, listen, I put a percentage on that.
Hey, man, you got to stop that. So unless your spouse choose to share your testimonies publicly, about what happened, you have no right to go and share to another person or share it publicly. About that. And to me, I've really learned, especially from you, that even when I preach, I got to make sure that certain things that I have to get your clearance first. You know what I mean? Because I've done that before, and you got on me. You got on me by the look, and I just said, "Well, I'm here. I might as well just go ahead and do it." I done walked in it, but when you get in the car, we get home, you give me a little peace of mind, because it's not right for me to share regrets or things that you done or things that we done without talking to you first.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to talk to you first. Yeah, I got to do that. Yep. So, healing happens in private first. So we got to let the Lord lead if it's ever time to share it more publicly. We got to do that. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. We ready. We moving right along. We got number 6, insecurities. All right. So when your spouse shares an insecurity, they're trusting you with that. They're trusting you with that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You confide in one another. You love one another, and you want to keep y'all business to yourself. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read this. What Proverbs 31:11 says about the virtuous wife. Her husband has full confidence in her. Full confidence. Meaning he trusts you with his emotions. He trusts you with his secrets or whatever he has going on.
And that goes both ways too.
He trusts you with that. So if you're gonna share anything, get his permission. Or if it's something that you can't say, babe, maybe you should talk to someone about this.
Right.
Talk to somebody about
it. Right.
I'm a woman. I don't know how to help you in that situation. But so I trust that you'll find the right person that you can confide in. That's a woman with wisdom saying, "Hey, I don't know how to help in this area."
Right.
So you can trust that what you've shared with me, I'm not going to share with anyone else because I want you to get your healing from that.
Mm-hmm.
And if it turns into a testimony, maybe it's something we could tell together.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is where compassion kicks in. We don't use the spouse's fear to win an argument. That's positive right there. You don't use somebody's insecurity to win an argument.
But in a lot of disagreements and a lot of marriages, they throw darts at each other like that.
Man, can't be throwing no darts.
They throw darts at each other like that.
No, sir. No, they can't use. You can't. It is wrong for somebody to use somebody's insecurity to win an argument. That's not a spouse. That's not a marriage.
That's a low blow.
That is a low blow.
Mm-hmm.
That is a low blow. And we, sometimes you can't come back from them low blows now. Sometimes you can't come back. So you can't use somebody's insecurities to do that. Don't share them as a joke. If your spouse has an insecurity, you gotta lift them up in prayer.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
And like you say, if you can't, in your prayer time, Lord, give us wisdom to direct us to the right the people in order to help my spouse's insecurity, because I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it. So, all right, ready? Number 7.
Mm-hmm. Number 7.
This is it.
That's a romantic moment.
Romantic moments. All right, romantic moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we started with intimate and we end with romantic.
Right, because this is where it gets spicy. Romance is a gift from God as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of people, you know, read Songs of Solomon, and it's not just poetry. It's passion. It glorifies the Lord.
Yes,
It's awesome.
you know, I would love for us to do a series on Songs of Solomon.
Ooh, that could get a little touchy, you know.
No, man, that's for marriages, you know. The Songs of Solomon. We just go through Songs of Solomon for a little bit, you know, and just talk about it.
Yeah.
If you want that, you know, if you like to have that, just for us to go through Songs of Solomon, you know, put us in the chats. Put a you know, thumbs up or, you know, a yes or something like that you would like for us to do Songs of Solomon. I think that'll be good, you know. All right. So when you keep those tender moments just between you two, it deepens the bond.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing too much information about a romantic moments could tempt you to brag, you do for recognition, or worst of all, shift the focus away from your spouse. You should keep gifts, love notes, and other romantic things a secret, and not all the time share it doggone on Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff.
Say that,
Man,
bro.
you know what that gets me. I buy my wife a Coach bag. I got to go and show it. Oh, this is what I bought my wife. I bought my wife a car. Oh, I got to go and tell everybody this is what I bought my wife a car. I bought this and I bought that for my wife. Everybody don't need to know all the stuff that you buy. What do you have that you just between you and your wife?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to share and tell everybody what you do.
Everything.
Because you know what? What people don't understand, you share so much, and when you get robbed, when your wife get robbed, when you get robbed, you have nobody to blame but yourself, right? You don't see Bill Gates and all of them going sharing what they got. They don't go and share that. You got to go and look it up and see how much money they worth. Because you don't know. They don't go out and say, "Man, I'm worth $1 billion." No, I would say there's only one person that does that brags about how much money they got. And I don't even want to mention his name. Okay, you know, I ain't gonna even mention his name. But you don't want to do it. You don't need to go around and brag what you and your wife got, right? You see it all the times with these rappers and stuff like that. They want to have all the chains and all that stuff, and then they get robbed, and then they want to cry. Oh, somebody robbed me. Well, you going around bragging about it. So I never want. Now, if you as a spouse, you want to, and even babe, even if you was going on Facebook and say, "This is my husband bought this," and my husband, I would be like, "Don't do that." I would say, "Don't you do it? It's between me and you. I bought this for you. You know, I didn't say I plan on it for the whole world to know it. No, I bought this for you. This is between me and you. This is a romantic gift. This is a romantic note or whatever like that." And again, it goes down to permission, you know, too.
Well, you know, I'm not that. I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
I'm not the one say, "Oh, I got a new car. Check it out." You know? I just think that, you know, the blessings of the Lord bring you no sorrow. So when the Lord blesses you, you should have no pain that comes along with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to be careful. So at the end of the day, secrets aren't bad. Secrets that are kept between you and your spouse aren't bad. And it's important to hold the glue that bonds you together when you can count on each other, when you're compassionate for one another, when you got each other's back. Sometimes some things just have to be kept to yourself. And when things can't, go to the Lord first and say, "I need a way to express how I'm feeling right now," and just keep God in the center of it. And, you know, the world will be looking from the outside, trying to figure out what's going on the inside, you know. So keep that bond, keep that glue, those secrets that you share with one another, keep those.
It's sacred.
They are sacred.
They sacred, yeah. They sacred.
The enemy just need a crack so he can just run with it and make you look like the bad guy.
Oh God, yes, yes.
So be careful with that.
Yeah.
What do you think, babe?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You know, you secrets are sacred between you and your spouse. You must keep that sacred. You know, and keep it close, and don't go and tell everybody. You go back to what Izzy said from that when she says, "Look, you got that one couple that'll hold you accountable, and you can talk to, you can confide in, and you know they're not going to tell anything, and they're going to tell who's right and who's wrong, and they just that way, you know, and you don't need to tell in and everybody, because look, this is one thing I do know. You can go to one person or you can go to this other person, and both of them can be prayer warriors or whatever, and they'll tell you two different things, you know. You go to this person, three things, and sometimes you get confused by sharing with so many people. You get confused on what to do. So I guess it comes back to this: when you have that one couple that you trust, that you know that they love you and they're giving you godly advice. The thing is that you got to know God for yourself. You got to go, and any couple that is mentoring you, that does not say, "I'm telling you this, but you got to pray about it." If they don't in that counsel say that you need to pray about it, then they're the wrong couple, because you got to pray about it. And again, we always said, what's good for us may not be good for you, right? We'll just give you some counseling, but it may not work for you. But this is how we would handle it, and so that's it. All right.
Yes, you are right. You are right.
Oh, yes.
You just say the couple has to be pro-marriage. That is so true.
It has to be pro-marriage.
That is so true.
Oh, man.
That's why I say you can't go to somebody who's been marriage hurt or broken, because they ain't going to give you, they're more or less going to be saying, well, what I would do or what I would do. No, they need to be pro-marriage. You are correct. They need to be fighting for their marriage.
Yes.
They need to be fighting for longevity, And
let me ask this question. I want to ask a question to Izzy.
Go ahead now.
How can a couple not be pro-marriage?
Ooh, you'll be surprised.
How can a couple that you go to, how can they not be pro-marriage? It seems like every couple would want
their marriage to work.
Their marriage to work and other marriages to work.
Well,
how can a couple not be pro-marriage?
Because some people are so in love with the wedding that they don't think about the marriage, the relationship. That's how they cannot be. They so busy trying to shine bright like a diamond for the whole world to see, spend a whole bunch of money. They never really thought about, hey, I'm going to be committed to this man. I'm going to be committed to this woman.
Sickness and health.
Again, if something happened to you, will this person be willing to stand by you and take care of you? No, they won't. I was just looking at a clip of a movie it came on. Oh God. The guy he came home from work, and the girl said to him, well, I heard you lost your job. And he said, well, how you heard I lost my job? I'm just heading home. She said, well, you don't have the money to take care of me. He said, well, who boxes is this? She said, I got to go. But they had spent all this money on this big wedding, all the people flying in, and they did, it was wonderful. I was like, that's a nice wedding. But at the end of the day, where was the value?
So they wasn't pro-marriage.
No.
We're just pro.
Let's just do this.
Get some money.
I wouldn't say that he didn't love her, but she definitely wasn't feeling him, because at the first sign of we finna be broke, you gonna go? So a lot of people like I think Pastor Barr said it before. People so focused on the wedding and all the extravagance of that they're not focused and committed to the marriage. So any little thing, they out the door. And you see it in Hollywood all the time, and they make it look glamorous. There's nothing glamorous about that. Like, I think one of these celebrities, and I can't even know, she done been married so many times, I lost count. I don't follow her anyway, but we have to make sure that we're in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
Rob gave thumbs up.
Oh,
hey, Rob.
and Izzy gave thumbs. So that song is solid. We got to do it. Izzy says people will project their hurt feelings onto you. They will give poor advice to you that they won't take for themselves. Woo.
Oh, girl. They'll tell you what I would do, how I would do. This what I was thinking about. And next thing you know, you over there at the court signing divorce papers and they marriage doing all right.
Or they would try to project that their marriage is so perfect.
Yeah.
When in essence, your marriage still going and they going to the divorce court.
Because you didn't listen to what they were saying.
Yeah. But your marriage is going good because they didn't listen to what they were saying to you.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to take your own advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah. You know? And I think too that when it comes down to the couples, you got to also realize that your marriage is not perfect. And sometimes when you're counseling somebody, that somebody will drop a nugget into your marriage.
What?
Right? And then you be like, oh, okay. Right? And I thought I was counseling you, but you just dropped a nugget in me, you know?
That's what be going on at the marriage retreat.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't know how they be dropping stuff to us. We be going back like, did you hear what so-and-so said? You know, I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Give us something to pillow talk about strengthening our marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
All right. So
all right.
That was it for tonight.
That was it. We hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Yep. Leaving in the comments, you know, if you got, 7 more or other secrets that you think besides the one that we talked about, and you can put it in the comments of the ones that you think that a spouse and a marriage couple should keep within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That secret. That's what we're talking about. You should not be keeping secrets from each other. You should be keeping secrets together.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keeping marriage secrets together. So don't do it apart. You do it together.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
All right. Please make sure you like and share this podcast. What you got, babe? What you got over there?
I never like it. We share it, but I never like it.
Yeah, please make sure you like and share. We want to thank each and every person who was with us tonight. Peaches, Izzy, Jordan, and Malika. Malika, we hope you are feeling better. Warren Paige,
yeah.
We got Rob and Janelle. We just thank you so much. And Izzy, we want to say that we love y'all so much.
We love you so much.
We love y'all so much.
And I'm gonna call you back.
We love y'all so much, and you're very appreciated. We can't wait to the marriage retreat.
Oh man, we got something for them.
We're trying to plan it. We're trying to have some fun. This time it's a little bit more fun this time, and we down and dirty. So I just can't wait. It's because every 2 years, boy, that's a long time.
Yeah, we won't do that again.
I don't know, might have to, but hey.
Every 2 years? Are you kidding me? You see the problems we had.
The problems we had.
Yes. We need help, y'all.
Yeah, we need help. So we can't wait. But I don't know if we could do it 2 years. But we thank you all. We love each and every person. We thank you for joining with us tonight, and we want to say we salute you all. Remember, you like and share. We're on all the podcasts. We're everywhere. So you're just going to listen to it. Give us a 5-star review. Listen to it and give us a 5-star review. Well, we want to say good night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Well, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the 27th is our 33rd anniversary.
Yes. 30 years. Oh, 33 years.
33, yeah. Ooh. And we are praying that we have a special guest on the 28th. We're not going to say who, but we need you all to be ready for that. But just pray that it's
and bring your questions.
And bring your questions. We have a special guest. Who knows? It might be the kickoff for.
It will be the kickoff of my very own podcast.
Yes.
Which will be You Go Girl.
No, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. The women's.
You Go Girl is a women's ministry, and my podcast will be Let's Talk About It.
Yeah.
And it's going to be for the ladies, and every now and then we'll have the guys tune in, but we'll be able to get on there and we'll talk about it.
All right. I'm excited. We got a spinoff.
We got a spinoff.
All right. We love you all, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks. God bless.
If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire podcast. And for that, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope you enjoyed this new episode. And if you did, please rate and review our show on your favorite podcast channel. Please share this episode with others who may be interested in this topic. Also, feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. get in touch in the comments or on any social media networks at Marriage in Real Life Podcast. See you in 2 weeks for a new episode.